A very good morning to you, Claudia. It's a pleasure to welcome you to Lux Chats. I'm going to ask you to introduce yourself shortly, but just a bit of a preamble for those who are maybe just tuning into Lux Chats for the first time. This is a segment where we just look to have a sneak peek at what's going on behind the scenes at EMCC Luxembourg and some of the stories within our membership. And hopefully some of our members can get to know us a little bit better and hear what we're up to. So without further ado, Claudia, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, hi, my name is Claudia. I am a leadership coach and team coach, also a conflict resolution specialist. I work mostly in companies, so workplace related. The pleasure has been entirely mine to be part of EMCC now for a few short years, but most of those already first as a special invitee to the board and then now as a board member, where my official title is Digitalization Manager. And that's kind of the hat that I have been wearing for the most part.
Fantastic. And that brings us right to the heart of today's theme, which is indeed EMCC Luxembourg's digitalization journey. So I'll be sort of your guide today. I'm Christina Clark. I'm a sort of informal host of this small show. And I just want to maybe get started with the big picture. Why would you say now is the right time for EMCC Luxembourg to modernize its digital interface?
Right. So modernization, I think, was important. Next year, we're going to have our 20-year anniversary, and some of the ways of working were still, from a time prior of the moments that we had all these fantastic digital tools at our disposal. Always remembering that EMCC Luxembourg is volunteer based, digitalization requires time and effort. So I think that it was also kind of now, because for some reason I am now there too and willing to do this. I come from tech originally, so as they say, you can take the girl out of tech, but you can't really take the tech out of the girl. And so I was willing, actually eager to focus on this. And the first kind of thing that we tackled, and maybe this also shows a little bit why now was important, was just the collaboration within the board. That was the very first phase that we did in terms of digitalization. How do we work together? Where do we store the files? How do we make the files findable, and so on. So it was just ripe. And I think that also now there is this knowledge base within the board and the membership to use digital tools. So it was just the right moment, I believe.
Absolutely. And also, it can be such a, as you alluded, so much has changed, of course, in the time that has elapsed since some of these systems, were set up. And sometimes it's difficult to choose the right tool, indeed, isn't it? It sort of becomes a bit of a sort of testing experience to get the right one. So yeah, so given that it can be a sticky process, what would you say some of the sort of initial challenges that you've faced, and how have you sort of gone about getting us on an easier path?
Right. So actually, the initial journey was quite welcome, I believe, by the board, because as I said, it was the online collaboration tools for the board that were the first area of focus. And I think everybody was just ready for it. Some of the previous solutions were a little bit less easy to use or less adapted to what we were after. So we moved everything, like the whole ecosystem, digital ecosystem that we had in terms of files and things like that to Google Workspace. Most people obviously know how to use these things, and it has opened up a lot of possibilities for us that were welcomed by the board members. Nomenclature guidelines as well, so we can find things, and it just gave a lot of clarity. The second step was already member facing, and those were things like Stripe and Ticketailor and things like that. And I think that it was less. It wasn't sticky, but there was a lot of research that needed to go on, and we had to figure out things like GDPR and where's the data and all those kind of things. So, these things require, in scope, require everybody on the board to be engaged, and so that just adds to the workload. So it was a lot of investment. The latest thing that we are doing in terms of digitalization is work on the website, which is larger still in scope. And there I found that there were somewhat diverging views on, do we need one? What do we want to be on there? How much work is involved? Is it even worth it? And so on. Always again remembering that we are all volunteers, that we do our best in order to make this happen. But everybody has been super great in getting the initial content together, and we will be getting the first version out very soon.
That's fantastic. And yes, it's so lovely that we can sort of, cater to this for different vantage points. And, that we've been really kind of working on the choreography around, how do we make our lives easier, of course, not only as volunteers, but also, we are members too. And I think that really helps to sort of bring our kind of collective insight to the table again, how can we have a more user-friendly experience, as members. That's wonderful, Claudia. So thank you so much for sharing that. And, I guess one of the other questions that I had is, of course, digitalization isn't really just about the tools, is it? It's really kind of looking as well in terms of, our culture being sort of quite a modern facing organization. Do you have any sort of other comments or things that you want to highlight on that front?
Well, I believe that from a culture, I would maybe talk less of a shift
Mhm.
because we are still
Yeah,
basing what we do on our key values, and one of them is professionalism. So, but rather than shifting something in the culture, I would say that this effort was in supporting and enabling it. So we are, at least for me, it was about increasing utility, engagement of our members, but also the public at large, and bringing value. So that I think is what this is all about. It's to support the way we show up professionally. And so there is one shift actually that might be more easy to track, is that even as a board, we're doing some get-togethers now online.
yes.
Okay. And that, of course, is a shift. And even now in our thinking, as we offer events to our membership, I think we are also looking at more of an online option. And that might, for some folks that maybe might have longer travel into the city or whatever, might be a welcome change.
Absolutely, because also, inclusion is such an important aspect, and many of our members are busy with their lives, running their families, etc. So it's important that we can incorporate those elements.
Right. Right.
And I suppose maybe one of the final questions really is, do you have a sort of call to action to our members on the back of some of these changes, apart from keep their eyes peeled for when the website is launched, and of course we'll communicate that in due
Yeah.
course.
Absolutely. I think that I would invite folks to maybe take advantage and use some of these digital ways. Everybody has been wonderful in signing up for the events using Ticket Tailor, so that works great. For the membership renewals, for the payment to events and things like that, try to use our Stripe so that for Monica, our trésorier, our treasurer, it's kind of in one spot and easy to manage. So it would be really nice to move that shift if you can. Once the website goes live, and maybe I'm giving away too much here,
Oh,
it's
spoiler.
yes, yes, spoiler, spoiler. You know, content would be really nice to support us by providing content. Maybe have a wonderful book review, a case report, conference report, things like that that might be interesting to our members or the public at large. So it would be nice to enrich what we offer in terms of content on the website. So that would be very nice. There may be possibly sometime in the future a members directory. So once this thing happens, please put your profile up there so that we can show the world and your potential clients that we are here and we have quite a competent membership. The last but not least thing is consider volunteering. For digitalization in particular, any kind of help with maintaining information on the website and so on would be definitely greatly appreciated. And you
Fantastic.
can volunteer without being on the board as well.
Yeah, absolutely. It is definitely a team effort. Claudia, thank you so much for sharing all of this. I think we're all very excited to launch this in 2026. It feels very appropriate for a new year and to have a new fantastic tool like this. And thank you for all your efforts in modernizing how we are able to collaborate together. Thank you for your
Thank you.
attention, and we will see you in another episode very soon. Take care.
Thank you, Christina. Thank you, everybody. Bye bye.